But yeah, so I don't know if you saw John Lee had his angel, and it's on YouTube, and it's pretty interesting little
John
video.
Lee had an
It's angel
angel.
sightings.
Oh, an angel
Yeah,
sighting. John, do we want to go into that story again? I am curious, or I could ask him another time.
oh please,
It doesn't
please
matter.
ask him.
What happened, John?
Well, first and foremost, I don't really like to talk about it with atheists, with Christians maybe, but for whatever reason I said what I said last night. But it is the case that I just went to a church, and long story short, I just went to church, sat down, heard some beautiful voices while we're singing praise before the service. And when I turned around, I saw this girl with her hands up in the air, and she had tears in her face. But behind her stood two, a little bit glowing, not quite like glowing, but like white robes, tall figures. And well, naturally, I didn't go, "What are they?" They're obviously angels. And so I kind of turned around, and I started tearing up a lot for some reason. And then maybe about a minute later, I decided to look back again, and that girl that was behind me, she was gone. And that was basically it. A little bit more to it than that, but that's just the basics of it.
Did anybody else see them either?
I highly doubt it. Even the girl, I doubt that she saw them.
Wait, are you counting the girl as one of the angels? There was her and then someone standing behind her?
No. The girl was an actual person, but the angels are standing directly behind her. And I don't think that she would experience. This is just my guess, that she neither heard the angels nor it was just me. I would imagine. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't
John,
know.
do you think you could have been? Do you think you could have been hallucinating, John?
Sure, of course, that's a possibility.
But
So
probably
on
not.
the scale
Just a minute. I'd like to hear Steph continue this.
Okay.
Oh, I would not jump to that just because I know that John has a history with drug use, right? So he probably knows the difference between when he's hallucinating. I mean, most of us know the difference, I guess, if we don't have a diagnosis. But John, do you think that they were there for you or for her?
Well, the impression that no, definitely not for her. I guess not for her. I don't even know her. I saw her once when I turned around, but the impression that I got was, one, the voices themselves. It was beyond human. It was like so beautiful. That's what I definitely recollect. And number two, and I love music, by the way. And number two, it was the notion that even the angels praise God. And that was the two takeaways that I had from that experience.
Were you scared?
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all.
Is there anything in your mind that it could have been other than angels?
Could have been the case that I can't. There is pretty defined. It's not like a blur type of situation behind her, and then the voice, like I said, like one could think, okay, it was her voice, and I heard her voice, and that's why I turned around, right? But I'm telling you, it wasn't her voice. It was more than one voice, and it wasn't even her voice. It was the angels' voices, like I said, and that's what caused me to turn around. And so, if you wanted to rationalize it in a naturalistic way, well, I heard her voice. I turned around to see what it was. I had this hallucination. I turned around. I turned around again. She may have walked out of the church. I don't think she herself was a hallucination. I highly doubt that. But I don't know. That's just how I look at it. I don't think it was a hallucination after all these years. Have I had an experience like that ever again? No, I have not.
Well, I Okay, so I think this is interesting as a Christian, but as a cessationist. So this is not personal to you, John. Like I find you to be trustworthy, and everyone else can gag on that, but I do. So the the thing that makes me hesitate about it is that we don't really hear stories in the Bible of people seeing angels and being like, "Oh, what a beautiful angel," right? So they're terrified. Like everybody in the Bible is like, "Oh, Lord, save me from this angel that's standing in front of me." It's usually not a pleasant person at church. But
Hashtag
then,
hashtag accurate angels.
yeah, they're usually like super terrifying. And I mean, we've all seen the illustrations of the biblical, like the Revelation's description of what angels look like, right? So there's that. But then I would hesitate to completely dismiss it. I think that it could have been something that was intended for you. Maybe, maybe God brings things to our attention in a certain way. I'm a very visual person, so maybe something catches the light a certain way, and I give significance to that, and I'll thank the Lord for it, or I'll consider it. As a cessationist, and not against you, I would hesitate to believe that I saw angels unless they had 40 wings and 500 eyes, and they were scaring the living daylights out of me, and I was begging
Yeah.
for my life.
That's an interesting comment, but I mean, when you think of like Lot, didn't he entertain them into their home and so forth? And
Well, that is true.
isn't it somewhere in Scripture, somewhere else where it says something about doing good? You don't know
You
if you
entertain angels unaware. Yeah.
exactly. And so I'm not saying that. All I can say is this: like, it definitely didn't frighten me, and if anything, it provided a certain peace.
Well, I'm not going to
Yeah, so
contest it. Yeah, that's a lovely story.
I will. So, when you said that they were obviously angels, what attributes did they have which indicate that they were obviously angels?
I would say that they didn't have wings. They had robes on, white robes, and they're just tall
And just to be
figures.
clear, this setting is a church where people
Uh,
wear robes. Is that correct?
no, this is a it's like an auditorium, and it was just the left side of the auditorium. There's only 20 people in the first 2 or 3 rows. I sat down in the middle on the left-hand side, of the third section, and then even further back was that girl, and that's where I saw the angels.
Is
And
it
so
not the case that people in this church ever wear robes?
definitely these were not human figures. Definitely.
Okay. Are you just
And in
purposely
fact,
avoiding the question? Are you purposely
no,
avoiding the question?
no,
Okay. Is it the case that people at this
yes,
church never wear
yes.
robes? They never do? Never.
Oh, they never do. No. Well,
Okay.
probably yes. Well,
Huh?
I don't. Well, how about this? How about
Probably
this?
yes? Wow.
Wait. How about that? Hang on. I don't know because when I think about it, I never really. It's a big church. I never attended the main service. I just attended a small section at 1 p.m. after the main service is over. It's more like a Bible study type of. It's an actual service, but of a certain particular group. And
Do they
so
ever?
I don't know what kind of robes they wear or whatever.
Do they ever put on shows? The nativity play, pageants, so on and so forth.
In that
Maybe
play?
they were just rehearsing in their uniform, in their costume. Yeah.
Oh no. I mean, literally, I have a vision of what I remember, and everything that you guys are supposing is like not even remotely even considerable.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because hold on a second. I thought you said it was quite
Yeah.
possible, and you don't even
I think
know.
a
So I don't know
hallucin.
why
I
you would
think
say it's not considerable when you're saying you don't really
it's
know about
not.
the robe
I like
protocol.
I said, I think it's more considerable that it's a hallucination than it is what you guys are proposing.
Hold on a second. You think it's more of a consideration that it's a hallucination that in a church people were wearing robes?
Um, in the way that I saw it, yeah. If you're talking about
Okay,
tall
that's great.
figures,
Okay. So
yeah.
it's
I
not
mean,
it's the robes aren't
whatever church robes, yeah, whatever church robes you want to imagine, Tom, and certain figures that happen to be there's actual figures standing there. is not how I saw it in a sense. It was more of a vision, which is different. And so, in a sense, that what you and Haiti are proposing, it's just not in the realm of the possibilities that when I look at it. Like I said,
Look,
the
you've already
way
said
I
that it's
remember it,
possible, right?
the way I remember it is more of a vision. Now, whether that vision represented this or that is a whole different story. But how you guys are saying, like, when I actually see something, like an actual person, maybe a church person in a robe, all of these things, to me, it's not even in the ballpark of
Look,
an explanation.
so
Because I'm the
I
one
asked,
experiencing it first and
here's what
foremost.
happened. Here's what happened, John. I asked you about the characteristics of these air quotes angels that makes them obviously angels. Now, the first thing that you told me was robes. Now, robes aren't uncommon in a church, right? It's actually quite common. Now, then when we got done with that, you were started talking about other things. So, sounds like the robe in itself is not something that makes one say that mother is definitely a angel, right? So, I'm asking you about the characteristics that indicate that it is obviously an angel, not the ones that indicate that it might not be an angel.
Here we go. Here we go with these discussions again. This is what goes on here all the time, Steph. But I'll answer your question, Tom. You can, if you can have a taste of this, Steph, it's nonstop. So anyway, with regard to the figures that I saw, right, they're very tall figures, probably six something, like very tall. No one in that church
6
is
foot.
that
Wow.
tall.
That's
The figures, the hooded figures, right? I don't see hoods on anybody in church ever. I usually see certain robes that have a representation of whatever represents their church. This particular robe that I saw had a hood, and they had a hood on. Okay, and so not only so, they were also glowing a little bit. I mean, not like how you may imagine, but kind of like a slight aura, right? And so, in a sense, because of these things, I would not attribute it whatsoever. It doesn't even come into the
Right.
mind of a choir member or
So,
whatever.
John, you admitted that you could have been hallucinating, right?
But hold on a second. Before we get to there,
Oh.
because that's always the case, right? That it could be hallucination. But let's
Yeah,
really, like, as a group, let's really stay on target here. Remember, we're asking about attributes of the people, of these angels, that indicates that they are definitely angels. Remember, just stick with this, guys. Just stick with me on this, right? Attributes that indicate that they are definitely angels. So far, robes. That doesn't indicate definitely an angel. In fact,
Robes
that's
with
commonplace.
hoods.
That's
and the
yeah.
Yeah,
glove.
lots
Next,
of people.
And he said
Choir
a glove.
members wear cloaks
What
And he said he
angels?
had a
with
glove.
hoods.
What
No,
angels
They had a
next.
have
glove.
hoods?
Hold on a
Right.
second. Next, they had hoods. That doesn't indicate definitely an angel. Jeez,
It sounds
I
like a
hate to
clan
see you
member to
go
me.
out and walk this. I'd hate to see you walk the streets on Halloween. You might just think that there's angels everywhere, John. Right? So that's
Here's the
not it.
thing. Here's the thing, Tom. If I were, let's say you had a photograph of what I see, or if I were to I'm a horrible drawer, but if I were to accurately draw what I saw, right? And if I showed it to you, and said that this is exactly what I saw, and I don't think you would see that and go, well, you know what? It's possibly like some choir member or someone in a robe from the church. You wouldn't think that either, Tom. That's why when you suggest it, you don't have what I have in my mind's eye right now, and I can easily dismiss that. That's what I'm trying to say.
He's not.
In your
Hmm.
look, are you just going to be drawing something different than you describe? Presumably, you would just be describing something that indicates obvious angel, but nothing really of what you've said indicates obviously angel. Like, most of them are kind of like things that we would expect to see in a church. The only one that's like so far the kind of like the weirdest is that they were glowing. They had a semi aura, whatever. But all the other stuff, like what was another one, that they were 6 feet tall? You know that's
Yeah,
that's you
hooded.
know that's not that's not extraordinary, right, John?
Well, he said they had beautiful voices, and he immediately identified them as inhuman.
Yeah. Hold on a sec.
I don't know. I
But
don't
that can't be it
understand
either.
why
That
the
can't
problem
be
is.
it. That can't be an indication of obviously angel, because you know why? The woman who he said he did not think was an angel also had a beautiful voice. So beautiful
No, I
voice
don't even
cannot
remember
be
her
an
voice.
indication.
I don't remember her voice, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay, I got you. Okay. I
I
thought you
think he
said
said
she
for
had them.
all he knew it could have been her,
I
but
thought
he didn't think it was.
No, this is
I
what I'm
thought for sure
saying.
he said that the woman had
What
the
I
most
did
beautiful.
say,
She looked over and her hands were in the air, and she had the most beautiful voice he'd ever heard. That's what I thought he
no,
said.
I said neither. Steph, I didn't say that, and Tom, I didn't say that. The point
Huh?
I'm trying to say
Thought you
is
did.
that no, I said I heard a beautiful voice, and then with regard to what Steph said, I'm saying that
Voice
if I were
singular?
to try to make a naturalistic explanation, then what I was saying is, well, it was not the angel's voice because the supernatural doesn't exist in that thing, and so it has to be the girl's voice. And when I turned around, and so that's what you heard, Steph. A possible explanation, not even that I buy that. I'm saying that this is how a skeptic would think. That's where I was going with that, Steph.
Yep. I think I understood that. I repeated it wrong. Sorry.
Okay, so what are the other obvious angel qualities?
I think to me, I mean, like I said, in a sense that I'm not saying they were obviously angels in reality. What I am saying is that
Oh,
whatever
we're
I
not even
saw.
saying that you. Okay, now we're
No, no,
really
no.
just off
So
the
what
deep
I'm
end.
saying is whatever I saw, right, could be nothing other than angels. And so now the question is whether it's a hallucination or not. I personally do not at all believe that it was a hallucination.
So the options are.
Whether
Let me get this
whether they
straight. Let me
were
get
an
this
angel or
straight.
not is not even in question.
Wait, I thought it was in question.
Whether the
You're saying they might have been
whether
hallucinations.
the figures I saw were figures of an angel or not are not in question. Is that a little bit more clear?
Yeah, in virtue of what?
I already gave you the things, Tom. I mean, I don't know what more you want from
6
me.
foot tall. 6 foot tall. That's like commonplace, bro. Let's see what else. Robes. Yeah, it's pretty common for people to be wearing robes in a church. Robes with hoods. Oh wow, now we're getting like out of the realm of like the physical world for sure now, right? There's no way that someone could be wearing a robe with a hood and not
I didn't
be
mention the
an
face, did
angel.
I? I didn't mention the face,
No, you
did
didn't.
I?
No, you
Does
didn't.
the
Yeah,
Bible even
exactly.
describe angels as like beautiful women with angelic
That's
voices
why this
with
is
He
all.
robes?
doesn't think the woman
No,
was
it
an
That's why
says
this
angel.
they're
whole
fucking that have
conversation
like
is silly, Tom.
eyes on wings and fucking terrifying like horror shit.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. What did you say, John?
That's why I said this whole conversation's silly. How about this, Tom? I extend a little bit of charity. I was reluctant to talk about this story. I even called it casting pearls to swine. I even told you experiences of many years. I probably only told the story 6, 7 times or whatever. But the reason I don't like to tell the story is because early on in all of these experiences with the atheist groups and this and that, this is what happens every time,
Right.
right?
Right.
And so
Yeah,
I'm
I
hoping.
would. Yeah, this is why you
So
don't
now,
want to tell
yeah,
it.
but that's
Right.
fine.
Yeah, but
That's
this
fine.
is. Yeah, but this is. Yeah, but when you
But you know
go
me, I'm gonna
and
tell. But you know me, Tom. I'm gonna tell you. You know that about me, right? So I
no,
did.
we have to press you.
Oh, you don't know? Okay. Well, that's a surprising comment, but
Yeah. So
you
so.
decided to upload it. Okay, whatever, right? Whatever, and you want to
Oh,
discuss it now.
stop the
Whatever,
sniveling, man.
right? But all I'm saying is this, Tom. I really don't want to discuss it much further. If you can discuss it amongst yourselves and speculate and whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't see any of the qualities that you've described. Obviously, angel attributes, and that's what I asked you for, right? And I think that's why you didn't tell, because you know that these aren't obviously angel attributes. And to say that someone being 6 feet tall is an obviously angel attribute is absolutely fucking laughable. To say that's an obviously angel attribute is somebody wearing a robe in a fucking church is fucking laughable, John.
Imagine telling someone that you heard someone with a beautiful voice, 6 foot tall, wearing a robe in a church, and asking, what else could it have been other than angels with a straight face?
Right. And then you were about to tell us something about the faces, and I can only guess how mundane, like, the properties are. Like, oh, did I mention that their faces were tanned? Right, so they must be angels, right?
It's almost like saying, like, I saw a psychopath the other day. He just killed an animal. Like, where were you? Oh, I was in a butcher shop.
Maybe they were Jedi.
Angels. Obviously angels. Absolutely laughable. That story is like actual atheist experience type content where some caller just calls in and is like, oh, I know God exists because I saw an angel, and they just rip them to shreds, right? John, you want to tell me about their faces?
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Steph, I have a question.
Unbelievable.
I agree, Tom. It is unbelievable. Steph, are you still here?
Well, sir.